same way. There was that murderer, the typical Nigerian lawmaker. This is what they discussed.
To let you know that with me today here are my 4 respected wives. Halima can stand up, please. Go. 1. Uma, stand up. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. These 4 wives you have seen have produced 27 kids for me, and I'm still counting. I'm still counting.
I must bring to the knowledge of this house a little anecdote.
For somebody who never worked in his life, he was an Okada rider in Kano. Then he joined Kwakwan SOP. He became House of Assembly member. From there, they promoted him. He became House of Representative member. And he's been in the House of Representatives now for like over 12 years. He's never really done any real job in his life. He has 4 wives, 27 children that Nigeria is feeding, taking care of. In 2023, his name is Togua. So the people from his constituency rejected him. You know what he did? When he realized that the election was not going to go his way, he mobilized his own boys, went straight to a particular polling ward, rounded up all those who he believed were working against him, including women, right? And they shot and killed 27 people. No, sorry. Yeah, 27 people killed. And you know what they did? They put their body, they dumped their body in a house, and they set the whole house ablaze. That means, here you get, to bury evidence. He was arrested with the other accomplice and his other accomplices rather. So they took him to court. His accomplices confessed that he didn't send them. He was not there. They did it on their own volition. So the court removed his name. And guess what? They still managed to announce his name as the winner of the election. Now, you get to understand why he's got no other job. He's got no other survivor. He needs to feed 27 children, 4 wives, and God knows how many concubines. Because he said he's still counting. That video you watched there, that was about 2.5 years ago. Those are the charlatans. And those are they call them junior chamber, House of Representatives in Nigeria. Okay? What about the senior chamber, the Senate? But they are not different, if you care to know. They are the ones singing.
How many times would they tell you before you know that Nigeria is not for you? Now they never leave you. They have left you behind. Photo, not be juju be that. Sorry, oh. May God not allow them, make them kill you. 70 years old man. Oh.
Anyway, let's leave them for a while. Because the atrocities, the criminalities they keep committing, right, seems to be limitless. Yesterday, Omotosho, reading a written script, handed a life imprisonment to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu because of what he said in his broadcast without any evidence of anyone saying Nnamdi Kanu killed my family member. I am a witness. Or Nnamdi Kanu gave me the guns. In fact, he gave me this or that to commit this crime. Without any of that, and without any law at all to back up any of the charges they have against him, he was handed a life imprisonment. Do you know what else they did? Maasi Nnamdi Kanu has now been taken to a prison in Sokoto, where they have the Lakurawa, where they have the Boko Haram, where they have all kinds of these Fulani jihadists as well, roaming the area. And you know that it is this Fulani caliphate that actually waged the war on the Biafrans, right? So the Fulani oligarchs who wanted the Igbos and the rest of Nigeria to be subjugated somehow, when Nnamdi Kanu started raising alarm of what the Fulani terrorists would be doing to us, including Boko Haram, and what their sponsors will do to protect them and gaslight you. All of that are coming to pass now. And Tinubu has now delivered Nnamdi Kanu to the Fodio descendants. So what is their plan? To probably fake a prison break and then kill him? Because this is the man that told millions of you years ago everything you are witnessing today. You want him killed? Now they've delivered him to the terrorists. However, there are those who still believe that this madness can be stopped if the supposed responsible people in that country prevail upon Tinubu and his handlers, right? to save the last dance. Because when this whole sky will come crashing, many, 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 many sins will be remembered, and there will be no restitution, so to say, no retribution. Listen to this view.
Today, I want to talk about the conviction and sentence of Nnamdi Kanu by the federal court in Abuja. Well, fact number one, this is a political trial for the simple reason that the allegation of terrorism could have been levied against many Nigerians, either Boko Haram, Fulani herdsmen, even the OPC in Lagos. I was lawyer to Fadrik Fashion, lawyer to several of them, Evangelist Elijoko, several of the leaders of OPC, and I know the level of violence. Two, this is also a trial that has been unfair in many ways. But the real question is this. The trial of Nnamdi Kanu's conviction is a political trial of Igbo, for the simple reason that even if those allegations are true, there still would have been no trial. As many Nigerian terrorist enablers, those who have spoken in favor of terrorism, are free. Now, this is where it comes home. Igbo are facing persecution and have been tried politically. But we should resist every anger to turn this into violence or killing the Southeast. It's a trap to destabilize the region. And so the first lesson is don't do it. Second, Igbo is being tried because they are politically powerless. So this is the time for all Nnamdi Kanu supporters and friends who are angry to come. Let's build a strong political movement, take power in the Southeast, and bring governors and senators who have the guts, the competence, and the ball to defend, protect, and ensure equal justice for Igbo. Nnamdi Kanu's conviction is a conviction of Igbo politically, and it shows political weakness. It's time now to turn this anger and outrage into strong political movement to win power in the region, to bring governors and senators and other leaders who can stand up, who knows that we are oppressed, we're a victim. Don't. Today, I want to.
Makes sense. Because the reason why Nnamdi Kanu faced that level of persecution in Nigeria, and for these years is simply because the Igbo political class wanted it that way. Now, others may call it betrayal. Some will call it, weakness, and the rest, whatever you want to call it, they were rewarded greatly. They were rewarded in APC, they were rewarded by APC just by allowing the government of the Fulani terrorists in Nigeria to humiliate Nnamdi Kanu. What was he saying? Raising alarm, telling us about the intention of all these guys. Most of what all of us talks about all the time. And then the political class were lying to their people, making or giving them the impression that they were talking to Bokwari. Yet they were seeing all of the shenanigans going on in the judiciary, with the judiciary, is trial and the rest of that. So you may call it weakness, you may call it betrayal, what have you. It is just, and you will be right. You may call it selfishness, you may call it probably being like a dreaded of fame, whatever. But they allowed it to happen. I need you to know that. So the Igbos are politically weak in Nigeria because the Igbo representatives want to be weak. They would rather play the second fiddle, try to pacify the people that have been destroying Nigeria for decades. You've had the northern Nigeria plus the middle belt, considering Gowon, who have ruled Nigeria for nearly 50 years. Then you have the other part, the Niger Delta, the region, who ruled Nigeria for 5 years. Then you have us, the Yorubas, who have ruled Nigeria, Obasanjo 11 years, Tinubu 2.5 years, 13.5 years, 18.5 years in the south, minus the Igbos, and 18 plus, 47 years by the Middle Belt and the northern Nigeria. But yet, now the Igbos are supposed to apologize to Nigeria. Like, how daft, how deluded could people be? The Igbos can be trusted. The Igbos have to, I'm not advocating for you per se, in case if you're an Igbo person all the time and you see that I speak that way, it is because if you want to know what is wrong with Nigeria, genuinely, just take a look at the way the system have treated the Igbos. When we're growing up, they lied to us. Even that one, that kind of like, I think that theory itself is probably like a 40, okay? And it's a bit, it's kind of like a bit excessive to say, but I'll tell you, when we're growing up, they used to tell us that the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria, they were the Hausas, the Yorubas, and the Igbos. And these, they came by based on population size. Here you get. However, there are other subgroups who, according to our own civic history teachers, made us believe that they are smaller, they are subgroup. The way they describe them, the way they kind of like, psychologically conditioned our minds, right? Only for us to grow up to now realize that, they say we have 3 major ethnic groups in Nigeria. Then you started hearing people say the Igbos cannot be trusted. So which means the Yorubas and the Hausas, they can be trusted, they can work together. So in this Nigeria, the power will have to be decided between these two. Then what happened to the third one? I said, no, we can't trust the third one. I was like, then Nigeria is not one country then. I got to know about this a while back, like a very long time ago. And I've always been like this very inquisitive, like curious person when I was younger. Maybe I'm still like curious. So then, I started like reading more about this contraption and the players. And it became very obvious that there's no way this country can be the same country. If we have people who genuinely believes that the Igbos can lead Nigeria, because don't let me lie to you, I grew up among the people who kept explaining to me why, not that because they accepted that, Here you get. They were telling me when I was a young boy that, you know, the reason why they won't let the Igbo people lead Nigeria is because they believe that once the Igbos become president of Nigeria, it will break up Nigeria. Here you get. Like adults were telling me as a little boy. And I was like, okay, so they will break Nigeria. But I didn't understand. Seriously, I didn't understand what that actually meant. But I remember I've been told that many, many times. But why? You remember that the Biafra War. So the Biafra War was like, you know, so they forced them back to Nigeria. And since then, they've made sure that they've tried to cut the other supposed old eastern region. So that's why they created state too. I was like, okay, so they created state in Nigeria because they wanted to trap the Igbos inside and make it. And after they created all these states, right? They divided the Igbos. They made them so small. And then you realize that this is deliberate because the state creation is not even the creation of the people. If you want to create a state, that means people have to come together and agree to be in this state. No, they didn't. They just woke up and said they have drawn the map like the colonial master did, right? They just drew the map like this and said, this is Ghana, this is Togo, this is Benin Republic, this is Nigeria. You know what I mean? That's what the Fulani terrorists and their early buds did. The threat of Gowon was that if Ojukwu should declare Biafra, Gowon would declare core states. You get that now? And that is a cross river, Ogoja and Calabar. And the rivers. These were part of the old eastern region as one entity. Like you had the old western region, you had the old western region, you had the old northern region. But these power guys, after the war, they were like, we need to balkanize the Igbos. So you now see states like Rivers, you have Igbos there, they are minority. You have states, you have states like Edo, you have states like a Delta, you have states like a Benue, you have states like a Kogi. Yeah, you have states that they intentionally just, the Igbos were not called when they started creating all these states per se. They probably just have to be like, okay, yeah, we're happy. So all these injustices, when you study them so long, you realize that, wait, what if this was not the Igbos that are being treated this way? Because it could be anyone. What if it's the Hausas? Until I grew up and I realized that, until now, when APC, Ebekebe came, I started hearing Hausa Fulani, Hausa Fulani. Fulanis are not indigenous to Nigeria. That's the correct history. They are not. But in the last 10, 15 years, our vocabulary is now about Hausa Fulani, Hausa Fulani. Now, it's almost like Hausa is almost like getting out of it. It's now Fulani, 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 Fulani Yoruba, and others. So that's what got me hinting on this, that a lot of you need to see it. A lot of you need to know it, because the same way you might feel comfortable with whatever history they have fed you with that justified why they told you the Igbos can be trusted. How can you say a major ethnic group can lead Nigeria, that they have to beg others? Beg you for what? That they bankrupted Nigeria, that they funded the terrorism against Nigeria. What? Come on. So that's why I kept saying, like, in case if you don't know, the Igbos are those you are seeing now. The way Nigeria is, if all of us are being kind of like reasonable, right? Whatever it is that motivates the Igbos to keep pressing, no matter whatever systemic oppression that exists in Nigeria, the spirit of pushing and not giving up and all of that, when you look at what motivates them, majority of that is what I just mentioned: the marginalization, the inequality, the systemic Cold War, the profiling. They exist, right? But when you look at, like I said, when you look at some of them, For example, the marginalization. The Igbos are not the only people marginalized in Nigeria, if we're all being honest, right? But majority of us have been appeased with that vanity of, now our man be president. We are the one in power. Yet, there is no access to drinkable water, even in your city, not to talk of the remotest of your communities. There is no direct benefit that changes your life to say because you are in power or you are favored, you have this and that. There's no direct benefit to you. It's just for these criminals who are sharing it at the top with themselves, using you, your tribe, your ethnic, including your religion, as their meal ticket, which gives them access to the table where they share your common patrimony. So if the Igbos are saying we want to live, we don't want to be part of this anymore, if all of us have been honest with ourselves, with what Nigeria has become, has always been right the way, right? Everybody should be asking to say we want out. And that's something that would then destroy or end the party. Currently,